Hello, hello, hello. Stefano here again, owner of Northern Snow. And today we're going to be taking an overview of the John Deere 5115R snow tractor. Okay, this machine in particular, I ordered custom made last year. I actually ran this tractor for half a season. And I did really enjoy it. It was not as nice as my 6130, of course, but it does definitely have its perks over the 6130, and was definitely an enjoyable machine. But there was also some cons to it too that I must bring up in this overview, of course. But honestly, the size of this machine with the horsepower it has makes it absolutely a beautiful machine. Like, it is awesome how much horsepower is packed in this machine for the size. So you got 115 horse, of course. You could tell that this tractor is nice and tight, not too tall, not too wide, just right for a big machine. Now, this tractor runs a 92-inch blower, the same blower that was on the 6130 in my previous video. And you know, in terms of blowing snow, they blow snow the exact same. In terms of driving on the road speed, they're the exact same. The only thing I could complain about is that it is a very bumpy ride, and the transmission in these 5115Rs aren't as smooth. They actually discontinued the 5R series, and now they only have a 5M series. And this tractor has a command quad transmission in it. Whereas my 6130 and my other 6Ms have all power quads. Now, the command quad, it's a little bit delayed when you shift, and it's a bit different. It's kind of the same idea, but it's just not as smooth. This machine also has the auto clutch, which is a pretty cool feature that I do like about it. I don't really use it, but it is pretty cool. For newer operators, if they don't want to use the clutch and they want to use the auto clutch, they can, to get a feel for how the machine works. But eventually, when you start doing driveways, you're going to want to use that clutch, as auto clutch could be a little bit dangerous if you aren't careful. Okay, so as you can tell, guys, beautiful looking machine. You got the Nokian tires on it. Like I told you, I ordered this one custom. I got the extended fender flares on the back, fender flares on the front. Came with a toolbox. I got it fully loaded with the front mount weights, mirrors. I got the beacon, absolutely everything. I didn't miss out on one thing on this machine. I ordered every last little thing it needed to make it a snow tractor. Okay, now coming over to the back. Like the previous videos, we got our color matching 92-inch Norman hybrid. Best snowblower in the game. Shout out to Jimmy. Shout out to the whole Meadow Plus team, actually. You guys have done an amazing job, and I can't wait to see what's to come this spring. Anyways, we'll dive right into this machine. Let me hop in, show you how it works. Got our buddy seat here, just like the other 6M. Now, the one thing I did really like about this machine over the 6s is it has a very small wheel. Wheel's very small, which I do enjoy. It just leaves you good leverage for turning when you're in the machine. This machine is also very narrow, like I told you. And it has an amazing turning radius for a big machine. Like, it's impressive. It really is. You got your beautiful sunroof here. That's a nice little feature. I must say, I do enjoy that. I don't really use it, but it's nice when you're driving the machine and it's open to have that full window view. You got your temperature controls, heat, AC. Now I'm going to go ahead and start this machine up to give you a little bit more of a rundown of how it works. RAM mount setup, essential. You absolutely need the phone mount and the tablet mount. Also, what's a snow operations without a nice CB radio? You also got your radio for listening to music, as you can hear in the background. Here is all your controls. It looks a little bit confusing, but it's very straightforward. Very clean too. I do like the way it's all set up. It's all right here at your hand, where your hand rests. You got your PTO on and off, shoot side to side, blower shoot up and down as such. You got your 3-point hitch up and down. You got your lights, 1, 2, 3 for your big lights on the back. You got your beacon. You got your 4-wheel drive, and you got your diff lock, auto 4-wheel drive. You don't ever want to use that when you're doing driveways, because it'll kick in automatically, and the next thing you know, you're hitting a car or a garage door. You got your throttle, hand throttle. Now you got your ranges here too. So this is what I meant by it's a little bit different from the 6130 or the other 6110Ms, is that you have your different ranges here, and there is 4 gears per range, but you have like 2 ranges on one setting and 3 ranges on another. I kind of like it. I do think it's pretty cool, but like I said, it's a command quad, not a power quad, so it's not as responsive when you're shifting, right? So you go and you shift like this. This is how you shift. You click it up once to shift, click it down once to shift down. There also is auto too. When you're driving on the road, it'll automatically shift for you like you're driving an automatic car. It's not nice though to do driveways with. I don't recommend. But yeah, so very basic. You got your gear up, gear down. You pick your range. You're gonna want to run in CD always. C being your range to do driveways in, and then D being your range to run on the road. So you're going to want to stick in C1, C2, C3, C4 max when you're doing driveways at about half throttle, 3/4 to full, depending on how much snow there is outside. And then you're going to want to run D when you're driving on the road, going full throttle from house to house, okay? Now, when you are shifting up on this machine compared to the power quad, like I said, it has a delay and it has a lag that I'm not a big fan of. It's not as responsive. It's not as snappy. I can't really show you because I'm not driving it, but basically how it works is you got your clutch in, you got your forward and reverse. You just go like this and it'll say F, C1. You flick it in reverse, C1. Now when I flick it forward and I hit my toggle here, it's going to bounce me up to C2, C3, C4, and then when I'm driving on the road, you want to go into D1, D2, D3, D4 until you hit your max speed. Now what's nice about this machine is I could be driving on D4 in the road, like on the road, and it has presets in the system settings. I really love this feature. As soon as I put that clutch and brake in when I'm driving, it'll automatically downshift me all the way to C1, which I absolutely love, right? It's one less thing to do, right? So basically that means you're gonna be a bit quicker. It's one less thing to remember. You don't have to downshift. Just drive in D4 all the way. And when you're driving in D4, you just pull up to your laneway that you're about to service, AKA your driveway, clutch in, brake. As you're slowing down, the machine will slowly start shifting down, and then when you come to a complete stop or close to a complete stop, it'll go all the way down to your preset gear, which I have this one preset at C1. So as soon as I brake, clutch in, I get in my driveway, it gears down all the way to C1, and then I start doing my driveway, and then when I'm back up on the road, I just shift up to go to my next house, etc. So I do like that feature, as opposed to the 110 or the 130, the 6 series tractors. You actually have to shift down, and then you have to move the whole shifter into the range that you want to service that driveway in. So if I'm driving an F4 going full speed, I got to downshift to F1, then I got to move the whole shifter to range C, and then start doing the driveway. As opposed to this, I'm just driving down the road, I'm in D4, I'm going to my fastest gear, I'm slowing down to my upcoming driveway, I put the clutch in, I start hammering the brake, and then it'll gear down to C1 on the preset, because I have a preset to C1. That's the way I like to do driveways. That's the way everyone should be doing driveways. Now, I think this is a feature in the 6110M if you get a little bit of a higher end model, but for all the 6Ms that I currently own right now, it's not something that we can do. So you're gonna have to do it manually, which is not a problem. However, one less thing to do is always nice, right? The more simple, the easier it is for operators to pick up, and the better the experience is. So that's basically the rundown for all your controls here. You could go into the settings and do adjustments. You could adjust like the hydraulic pressure running to your hoses, so you could control the speed of your chute going side to side and up and down. You could control the speed of your 3-point hitch, how fast it goes up and down. You could put presets on here, the whole 9 yards. So there's tons of cool settings that you could adjust on here to make the experience a little bit more unique to you, right? And like that's basically it for the 5R. Now there's a few more things I'd like to touch on with the 6110 to compare both these models, but it's sad to say that this tractor is now discontinued and they only make the 5M. I will no longer be buying any 5Rs or 5Ms. I'm really trying to consolidate my fleet down to just 4Rs and 6Ms only. It's all about running a nice, clean, simple system, guys. That's what you want. You don't want a bunch of different tractors, a bunch of different blowers. So we're making the switch, all Norman fleet, all John Deere 4066Rs and all 6110Ms. Now, I mean, they're all gonna have their slight differences. They don't come all identical unless you order them brand new from the factory, customized. Nowadays, that isn't easy. However, if you can, then you're gonna want to get them very, very similar. So that's everything on the 5R that we touched base on. I didn't really miss anything. The auto clutch is pretty nice. You just hit your foot on the brake. You actually don't even have to clutch in if you don't want to. You just slowly let your foot off the brake and away you go. And it starts moving, and then you just hit the brake when you want to stop, and that's it. I like the clutch, gives you more control over the machine. That's why I recommend it, but it does have auto clutch, so you don't actually even need to use the clutch at all. You could pretty much do all your driveways with just this brake, but one wrong slip and your machine's going for a ride into a house or a garage, which you don't want, right? So you got the same thing as the 6130. These windows are huge though, which I absolutely love. Big corner windows on these 5Rs. And you got the rear open window in the back. We'll give her some beans. So that's it, guys. That's a John Deere 5R for you there. And like I said, you don't want to be buying a bunch of 5s and 4s and Kubotas and 6s. Make sure you're running a consistent fleet. Learn from my mistakes, please. And do yourself the favor. If you're interested in getting into this business model, purchase yourself a John Deere 4066R and purchase yourself a John Deere 6M 6110M, the brand new ones with the sparrow nose, not like that last one at the back. That's the 130 with the long nose. And that's what you want. I mean, if you are interested in running Kubota is a great machine as well. I do recommend them, but if you're gonna run Kubota, stick to all Kubota. Make sure your fleet's looking the same. You don't want some New Holland, some Kubota, some John Deere, or else that just doesn't make any sense at all.